you probably thought I was going to start with this, but I do want to bring this up because I got to tell you, now I'm not just, I probably shouldn't even say this to you. I shouldn't even say this to you because I don't know how you're going to receive it. So I just I hope, Michael Smith, you will receive this with humility, that you will take this and remain humble. All right? Let's be humble.
Always.
All right. So I have read a lot of the smart, the basketball intelligentsia on this whole LeBron and how his greatness, what does number 4 mean? I've listened to former players. I've looked at the stats, the advanced stats, analytics, the whole thing. And I still, some really compelling reporting, some compelling writing, Michael Smith, but I still think you got the best take on it. After all the stuff I've looked at, I think you've got the best take on LeBron versus, okay, let's not dance around it. LeBron versus Michael Jordan. You know what's out there. Everybody keep bringing it up. We don't want to bring it up, but it keeps coming up. Your take on LeBron versus Michael Jordan was the best one, and it really does. It answers the question. It is, what's your preference? Nobody wants to hear that, but you mentioned Stevie Wonder versus Prince. 2 completely transcendent artists with 2 completely different styles. Who do you like? Who do you prefer? And that's really what it comes down to with Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because they want closure to this argument, but they will never.
They want an answer.
There will never be closure to this. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can, but know that when you're picking one, that it's not definitive. Hey, I'm picking Jordan, and that answers, that settles the argument. You pick your one, you're not settling the argument, you're starting it. And it's a continuation of an ongoing discussion that will probably never be resolved. Because the 6-0 can't be a drop the mic moment, right? Because if you're going to do that, if you're going to go 6-0 in the finals,
right?
Then if I come back and go 11-2 in the finals, then you might come back and say, well, that was a different era. So it can't be just championships. That can't be it.
Or 6-0 in the finals versus 5-4 in the
11-2, by the way, is Bill Russell. Bill Russell. Those are
No. Oh, for kids at home, yeah. But 6-0 in the finals versus 5-4 Magic, versus 10 finals trips. But continue. I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm just saying, like, there's something to be said for going that many times. You know what I mean? You may have lost, but there's a lot to be said for going. But I don't want to interrupt your train of thought because I got something for you too. But go ahead.
No, let it kill because I want to go down the court and just go back and forth on this because one of the things that.
But I'm enjoying you giving me my props, so don't stop giving me my props. I appreciate
the props, that's it.
Give me more.
I'm just saying of all the smart guys I've heard out there, yours is still just like
the smartest.
Best. You summarized it. You summarized it. You synthesized all these different threads. You put it all together. But Mike, it occurs to me that some of this is generational. Now, I'm not saying if you're 23 years old, you're automatically going to say LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. But some of it, if you just think about the whole argument of LeBron versus Jordan, some of it is, well, LeBron left. He left. He didn't stay loyal to that team that picked him. He had to go and search for his championships. Now, if you're of that mind, if you feel that way, you're always going to go with Jordan. But then another way of looking at it, Mike, is, hey, some of the wall has been broken down between general managing and superstarring, if I can invent a term. So it used to be when Jordan didn't have that option. They weren't even thinking like that. It was like the collective bargaining agreement wasn't designed that way in the late 80s and early 90s, where Michael Jordan could say, if he were so inclined, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go. Forget about Jerry Krause. Forget about these general managers. I'm going to be the general manager, and I'm going to put together my own squad.
Yeah.
But LeBron James, that's kind of what he does, and that's a modern thing. That's not a big deal in 2020. It was unheard of in 1993 that people just didn't do that. So that's one of them. The other thing, Mike, is Michael Jordan was always a scorer. He was always a scorer. You never had to tell him, hey, the game on the line, score. And so by the time he got to the finals, he was a complete player. In his first finals appearance against the Lakers in 1991, he was a complete player already. LeBron was a dynamic player, but in his first finals appearance versus the Spurs, he was not complete yet. He almost had, this is how strange this is, he almost had to be taught to become more selfish. Because his instinct is just to, hey, what am I going to do? What's best for the game? And Michael Jordan was like, hey, game last 10 seconds. I don't care what it is. Most of the time, I'm taking the shot. Now, I'll pass it off every now and then, but you don't have to tell me to take over this game because that's really what I'm wired to do.
So you know what's interesting? It just occurred to me. Do you remember pre-1991 what the rap on Jordan was? And it's something that nobody ever said about LeBron. It was that Jordan couldn't make his teammates better. It's laughable looking back, but he couldn't make his teammates better, which LeBron was always the guy that made everybody better. I appreciate you appreciating what I had to say about the ongoing LeBron versus Jordan debate. And I'm actually going to reciprocate that because I came into this crediting something that you said recently for my LeBron take today. Because we had an argument along these lines, you may remember, when you said that Jordan or Bird or Magic or Kareem, that they could never do what LeBron has done. And I took exception with the word could. They didn't, as you just laid out a minute ago. They didn't, but I didn't like that you said that they couldn't. But the fact is, Michael.
You know, Mike, I don't remember our arguments. I don't hold grudges like that.
No, but wait, but the fact is, no. I'm actually agreeing with you on the fact of the matter is that nobody else did with 3 different teams.
Right.
Kareem won it with 2 different teams, was Finals MVP with 2 different teams. Kawhi Leonard has done it with 2 different teams. It was Finals MVP with 2 different teams. You could argue whether or not he was the actual leader of that Spurs team that he won the Finals MVP with. Part of the reason he won Finals MVP. Remember, it was a thing when guys would win for stopping or slowing down LeBron. Hi, Andre Iguodala, right? And Shaq won it with 2 different teams. Went with 3 different teams, but won with 2 different teams. Went with the Magic, Lakers, and Heat. Won with the last 2. But there's one guy now. There's one guy who can say, and this is LeBron's 6-0. This is LeBron's 11 rings. There's only one guy who can say, I have gone and won the finals and finals MVP with 3 different franchises. Michael, let me say it to you like this. It's not supposed to be as easy as LeBron James makes it look.
Right.
His presence in the finals is a given. It's a constant. He goes to the finals every year. And for him to change situations, change franchises, and to get back year after year, and to now say that he's the first and only guy to win Finals MVP for 3 different franchises, that is such a singular and monumental accomplishment. Until, you know what? LeBron is right. When he said, give me my damn respect, it was like, what you mean? You know what? He doesn't get enough respect. I'm not saying he's underrated, but he doesn't get enough respect. Because the only thing easy about what LeBron James is doing is taking it for granted. Let me say that again.
Yeah.
The only thing easy about what LeBron James is doing is taking it for granted. Think about all the great players in NBA history who never win a championship and who might have gotten to the finals once. Charles Barkley got to the finals 1 time. Karl Malone got to the finals 2 times. This dude's been 10 times with 3 different teams and been the best player in the series with 3 different teams 4 times now. Only he and Jordan have 4 regular season MVPs and 4 finals MVPs. Dude has averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in the finals 6 times.
Half dozen times. It's nuts.
The other people that do it have only done it once. And so it's still a matter of preference. But I'll actually give credit. So I'm giving credit to you for pointing out that LeBron James has done something that not many others could do, but we know for sure nobody else has actually done it, which is beat a guy on 3 different teams for 3 different finals. But I'll just give credit to one other person. And honestly, and maybe somebody else has said it, that's Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson. Because he said it again last night. LeBron may, in another couple of years, I think he's playing like this. Another couple of years, he'll pass Kareem for maybe not a couple of years, maybe longer. I don't know what the math is. He's on track, on course to pass Kareem as the all-time leading scorer, possibly in the Lakers uniform. In another 2 years, if my math is right, he'll pass Magic Johnson on the assist chart in a Lakers uniform. Let's say he adds another couple of titles to his resume. And I'll get to resume in a second, but I just want to make this last point before I pass it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be the greatest player ever for some people, but as Mark Jackson has said, he'll have the greatest career of all time.
Interesting.
I think it's arguable he could end up having the greatest career. May not have the most rings, but if you put the points with the assist and all the other counting stats, the consistency along with the championships, he might have the greatest career when it's all said and done. And again, that's Mark Jackson has said it. Looking at the fact that that singular achievement of being a guy that's won it 3 times, won Finals MVP with 3 different teams. It's just not supposed to be that hard. Or that easy, excuse me. It's not supposed to be that easy. It's supposed to be hard to get to the finals. And then think about it. Like the people we're talking about, there was a level of consistency to their organization, to their supporting casts, to their coaches, to their surroundings. Dude, the more things change with him, the more things stay the same. And he ends up on top at the end of the day.
Well, 2 quick things. And then we got to get to somebody who, we got to go on the 3-way. We got to get on the 3-way. Talk to somebody who knows a lot about the Lakers and history and championships. Well, that's coming up in a couple seconds. But 2 quick things. The reason LeBron James, his performance is taken for granted in the finals is because when he leaves those teams, you just assume that great players playing together will get to the finals. He's always done it. But as we know, from those odds, we're looking at those odds, Clippers next year, we know that's not always the case. Just because great players play together doesn't mean they're going to make it to the finals and win them. Now, that's always happened with him, whether they've won or not. If LeBron James is on your team, you're at bare minimum, you're going to win 50 games in a normal NBA season. That's bare minimum. 50 games, second round of the playoffs, got it. You're not going to be eliminated in the first round. You're going to win 50. You're going to get to the second round, but you're probably going to the finals. But ask the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George this year. Back in the day, Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen on the same team. Okay, didn't work out. Ask the Lakers. That super team that lost to the Pistons in 2004. You got, Karl Malone and Gary Payton and Kobe and Shaq. It doesn't always happen that way. And so we assume, this is just easy. No, he makes it, to your point, he makes it look easy. And my final point is, you said he's the first guy to win a championship with 3 different teams. He's also going to be the first guy to win multiple championships with 3 different teams because he's not done.
Well, he's only got
done here with the Lakers.
Well, with 2 different teams. With 2 different teams. Yeah, I mean, he didn't do it. He didn't win multiple with Cleveland, but I get your point. He won multiple with 2.
Miami.
Right,
okay,
no,
2 different.
3 different teams.
2 different.
With
2 different. I said 3. My bad. 2 different.
No, you're good. I got you. Let's sneak in this break. Yo, did you see Brady's tweet, though? This is how you turn a frown upside down. You got it, Gary? That's gangster. Shout out to Gilad and Shadowline, but that's gangster.